This episode is brought to you by the Lexington Bourbon Society. On this episode, we are learning how to fly. Or flight.
Oh, it's bourbon night, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna have a glass to begin, yeah. Oh, it's bourbon night, we're gonna do a flight because it feels so right, my friends. It's bourbon night.
It's Bourbon Night. Hi, I'm Chad. We're taking you through our paces of how we do a blind flight, a fight flight, as it is for us. So first things first, you need to pick your bourbons and the size. So typically a flight is anything of 3 or more liquors. We recommend 4, 3 to 4 is kind of the sweet spot. Anything above 5 and you might be losing your critical taste buds there. So for this one that we're going to outline, it's going to be 4. Now let's pick the bourbons. You can be completely random, and that's totally fine, or you can kind of go with a theme. Themes are kind of cool. You can select all the same distillery, similar mash bills. You could do wheated bourbons, high rise, barrel proofs, etc. And when you pick a theme, that's kind of makes it a little cooler. So next thing, we're going to call some friends. Okay. Texted a few friends.
Hey, Chad. What's
Oh,
up?
hey, what's up?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I texted a few people, and only Sara showed up. But
Well, it's 2 p.m. on a Wednesday, so what'd you expect?
why aren't we at work?
I don't know. We must have awesome jobs. Cheers to that. No, but seriously, bourbon nights are best enjoyed with friends because 1, it's really hard to do a blind flight by yourself, and 2, drinking that much bourbon alone. Really? Do we need to call for some help for you?
Yeah.
But seriously, bourbon nights are best enjoyed with a friend and best enjoyed responsibly.
So, Sara, what do you want to do for our blind flight?
I was really thinking that we could do maybe some small batch because I really am liking the small batch lately.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
thinking
yeah.
like the 4 Roses.
Okay. Yeah, 4 Roses. Let's also do Knob Creek.
That sounds good. I don't think we've done that yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I would really like to do Evan Williams because I'm apparently a big fan
You
of
are a
Evan
big
Williams products,
Yes.
and I would like to do the small batch.
Okay. Lastly, let's turn it up a bit. Let's do E.H. Taylor.
Oh,
small
that's
batch.
good.
Yeah.
And you know, the great thing about all those is that they all have single barrel expressions too. So later on down the line, we can try those and see how they match up against each other, small batch versus single barrel.
Yes. All right. Friends, check. Or friends, check. Bourbons, check. Now let's move on to the glassware. So a lot of people like to use the Glencairn. It's a classic tasting glass for whiskey and bourbon. 1, because it's excellent for getting a nice nose when you're nosing the bourbon. So it's very popular for that, and nosing is a big part of the bourbon flight experience, but really any glassware that you have will do.
All we recommend is that you use the same glass across the board for your flight because you wouldn't want something as simple as that to kind of mess up your results. Once you have your glassware chosen, then you can pull out our little friend. This is called a jigger. Use the same amount for each bourbon. You can do a ½ ounce, an ounce, whatever you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
So pour an equal amount for each bourbon. All we would say is that if you're using the same jigger for each bourbon, make sure to rinse it and thoroughly dry it between each use because you wouldn't want any water to get in there, which can dilute it and, you know, mess up your results also.
Exactly, and for the flight fights, we've normally gone with ½ an ounce. We find that is enough to get a nice swallow of the bourbon, go back for a second taste even, and also for a third when we typically go in reverse. But whatever you do, just try to keep it consistent across.
So far, all of our flights have been blind, which means we know the 4 bourbons in the flight, we just don't know the order. But you can also do a double blind flight, which means that not only do we not know the order, we don't even know the 4 bourbons that are in the flight. So I can pick any of these?
Yeah, but nothing that's unopened. All right, so now we have our bourbons before us, and we know what bourbons we're having, but we don't want to know the order. So the first things first is we're going to label our glasses, as you see here. What we found is these labels that you can buy at any store has worked well for us. Sara gets the pink, I get the green. If you're the forgetful type, write that down in your book as well. So what I'm going to do now is decide the order that I want this to go in. So, for example, and this isn't going to be the order, Sarah.
No.
I might write down, okay, E.H. Taylor is going to be in glass A. Write it down. But now I'm going to do yours for real, so...
So, in the meantime, I don't want to know, so I'm going to find something to do. I'm going to go play with your dog.
Do that.
So, bye.
Do that. Okay, so now to actually make her flight. Let's see. A will be 4 roses. Okay, so I have them written down here in the notebook. Now I make them with this right in front of me so I don't mess anything up and forget it. And what we actually have is a jigger for each because we're lazy and we don't want to have to wash it out. So I'm getting ready to make her flight. Alright, so as you can see, I have made Sarah's A through D. I've written them down. I've turned it to her page where she will write down my order. And when she's ever done playing with the dog, she'll come back. Oh, hello. Hi.
Hi.
So now you want to make my flight?
I do, so now you get out of here and you go play with the dog.
I'm going to play with the dog.
I'm going to make Chad's flight now. Already turned to my page and everything. How nice. Alright. Now both of our flights are ready, so I'm going to go grab Chad and we will be right back.
Alright, Matt, so LBS commercial for It's Bourbon Night. What are you thinking?
We've been to a couple local events lately, and I've had plenty of opportunity to chat about who we are and what we are. So to narrow it down, it's just we're a local 501c7. We're a local nonprofit who kind of created a business model to use bourbon to help raise money for other local charities. So that's kind of probably, it's about half of what we do. The other half is members get together and talk, sip, do blind tastings, do private barrel picks. So it's a very casual, like I said, 501c7 is a social group, so we're pretty social.
Well, yeah, that's awesome. You also get some cool swag, though, too, right?
Yeah, we do. When you sign on as a new member, you get a Lexington Bourbon Society T-shirt, just like the one you're wearing. Nice, huh?
Yeah.
Not only that, nice T-shirt. New members get a choice between a glass flask etched with the logo or a Glencairn glass.
Okay. You said something about barrel picks, right?
Yep, absolutely. Members get an opportunity to go on private barrel selections and go to the distillery, be a part of the tasting team that picks the barrels. In front of me, we've got a few of our picks that we've done over the past couple years. Smooth Ambler, we've done 3 Knob Creek barrels, Old Forester, Maker's Mark, a couple Buffalo Trace, have 4 Roses coming up.
What about people who don't live locally?
We actually have a couple members from Brisbane, Australia, a couple in Virginia, South Florida, and they stick around because barrel picks. They know that as members they get an opportunity to get at least a bottle if they want one from the yield of each barrel, and then if there's leftovers, they get a chance to get another one.
So, are there any more benefits to being a member?
There are. We've got a program in Lexington Bourbon Society that you can be a certified bourbon steward. It's a 4-course program, and you get a title. Come check us out, LexingtonBourbonSociety.com, on Facebook. See what we've been doing.
Okay, so you just want to just talk about that stuff for the commercial?
Yeah, I don't know. What else are we gonna do?
Yeah, true. Okay, that'll work.
Cheers.
All right.
Alright, I'm back. And I brought Chad. Here he is.
Hi, I went that way. We've got them poured. Neither of us know what the order is, so you might think it's time to dive into the flight. But not yet. As you may have noticed, we've been sipping on our bourbon throughout this entire thing, and this is what we call our control bourbon.
So we get one of these to have before we do our flight, and it sort of primes our tongues so that we don't get that initial shock from the first bourbon, because that wouldn't be fair to the first bourbon. So we're sort of getting our tongues ready, like stretching before you work out.
Yeah.
And we try to choose something that we both like. So for us, we generally go to Henry McKenna Single Barrel.
Mm-hmm. Now, if we were doing a flight where, like, say we were doing a category of $25 to $35 bourbons, Henry McKenna would fall in that category, so we would have to change up our control bourbon. But since this is not a small batch, since in the $50 or $25 category it didn't fall in that, this has been a perfect control bourbon. We know we both like it. It gets our tongues primed and ready for the flight. And after we finish it, we'll generally wait about 10 minutes. Just come down a little bit. But we're already in that groove. We're in those comfy shoes.
Yeah.
We're ready to drink some bourbon.
So let's drink some bourbon.
Oh, well, that's a good idea.
But we're going to wait.
We're going to wait.
So now that our bourbons have been sitting in the glass and had some time to breathe, we've finished our control bourbons and we've waited 10 minutes. We're pretty much ready to dive in. I will say, though, we try to avoid having brushed our teeth or eaten anything spicy within the past hour before we do these, just because it can affect your palate. But that's kind of the point of the control bourbon, is to take the brunt of that off if you're getting any of that "this doesn't taste quite right" feeling. So hopefully your control bourbon took care of that and you are primed and ready to taste these bourbons. So let's talk about where we start off.
Well, you can start off with A, since that's the first one, or to take any bias out of it, whatever Sara picked for my bourbon A, whatever I picked for her bourbon A, you can roll a die, you can pick a letter out of a hat. Say you pick out C, you'll start with C, go D, then A, then B. That just takes out any bias, so you can do that. Let's just say, though, we're starting with A. The first thing that we do, you can obviously look at the color, and a lot of people like to do that and describe if it's amber or if it's a rich Corinthian leather or whatever it is.
Leather-bound books.
Leather-bound books, yeah. But then you take a nose. And to do this, you want to put your nose in, but open your mouth. And this is so you don't get the full brunt of the alcohol smell in your olfactory glands.
No, is that right? It'll hit you right in the face.
Thank you, biology. So this way, you're getting it in 2 orifices, if you will.
And it really works best that way. I feel like you get a better sense of what flavors are going on.
Yeah.
You know, just a depth feeling of what you're about to taste. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's
way better than just going, because you're just like, ugh.
It's hard to tell.
It's a lot at once. So then, once you've nosed it, I would recommend taking notes, even if you have to, or having a bourbon flavor wheel in front of you. That might help you identify some smells and flavors once you get to the tasting. But yeah, definitely try to see if you can discern anything out of that, like
caramel.
Right, or nutmeg, or pine, or cedar, or I've even heard someone say bubblegum before.
Bubblegum, sure.
That's one of the weirdest ones
Tobacco.
I've ever heard, but it's a thing, yeah. So kind of try and take note of what you're feeling as far as smell. And then...
Yeah, if you like, you can, as Sara said, have your flavor wheel. You can also be taking notes as you go. I smell this, and then you taste it, which we won't do right now, but you taste it, make notes there. Make sure to get enough on that first taste to actually taste it.
So Fred No of Jim Beam would recommend to chew the bourbon or get yourself a good sized sip and swish it around your mouth so that it hits all parts of your tongue. And that's so you get to experience it equally on all parts of your tongue.
And that's called the Kentucky Chew. Yeah.
So that you're not just sort of shooting it like a shot. You want to swish it around and make sure that
Give it time.
you get the full experience. Give it some time. Yeah. And then, move on.
So you can go back. We usually like to go back for a second taste because that can be different. And then we'll set it down, go to the next, we'll work our way down, and then a lot of times we like to work our way backwards.
Just to be sure that, we're not getting a different taste off of one because of the previous one or whatever.
Yeah.
Just to go back through and give it a little mix up. But between those, we generally eat a cracker.
Cracker time!
Cracker time!
Now, you love cracker time.
I love cracker time.
You love cracker time.
It's my favorite time.
We like to pick as flavorless of a cracker as you can. And that's because you don't want anything with a lot of in-your-face flavors to be affecting your bourbons. So these are actually unsalted, plain, brown rice crackers. Yeah, it doesn't get much more white bread than that. But
you can do
all you
saltines,
need.
but they've got a little salt.
They got a little
it might
salt.
affect you.
do a little cracker,
Do a little cracker?
do a little water. And try to get that cracker out of there.
It's hitting reset on your palate for the next one, pretty much.
I'm doing the Kentucky Chew on the water.
That's gross.
No, well. So you get that out. you hit reset, like Sarah said. You go on to the next one. You just lather, rinse, and repeat. So, nose, taste, share your feelings. Nothing crazy, just about bourbon.
Right. Keep it together.
Yes, and then we get down to our last one, and then we usually like to go in reverse because we're keeping enough in there that we can do a third tasting kind of in reverse. And then we're not very big on note taking.
No.
So what we'll do is we'll kind of arrange them. What is furthest from us is our front runner. Then we'll kind of, arrange thusly.
So this is my favorite. This is my least favorite.
Yeah.
And these two fall somewhere in between. And sometimes we even make predictions. I would say, I think that this one's Knob Creek because whatever my reasoning is.
Whatever your reason.
I think that this one's Evan Williams because
You
I don't
love
know.
Evan Williams.
Actually, that's inaccurate. I think this one's Evan Williams. But
Right.
anyways, so that's how we would do it
Mm-hmm.
if we were going to do it. And once we've both got our predictions and our order ready, which usually takes Chad just a little bit longer than it takes me. But once that's done and we've waited the hour for him to choose.
Cue file footage.
So are you gonna rank these or what?
I don't know, man. Leave
You
me
have
alone.
to do it again.
I'll be in my room.
We grab our notebook, and whatever page the last person did an entry on, which was me, I wrote down yours.
Yes.
So I will reveal his because
Prime
that's
to
what
mine.
it's turned to his page. So I would open it up and I would say,
Your last pick,
your
bourbon.
last pick. We like to go last to first.
It's more exciting.
It is. It's like you can get the build up. So I would say, Chad, your last pick was.
Okay.
But I'm not going to tell you because we
No.
haven't actually done this flight yet. So
But we're gonna.
we are going to. So I would reveal them in order, last to first, and then he would reveal mine.
And then I might have a reaction like this. No way! No way! No way!
I usually try to keep it together, so.
What?
My reaction would be like, what?
What?
I
No
didn't.
way.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
I had no idea.
That's so weird. It's weird. What? That's crazy.
Anyways.
Yeah. And
so
then
we reveal.
We
We
reveal.
discuss our
We discuss our
feelings,
feelings.
how it compares to potential other bourbon nights like this I've had before. So if I were to choose that, we would talk about how I've chosen it before or have not chosen it. So on and so forth until we're done and we're
Until we're done.
satisfied and
We're satisfied and
done boring you and
feel
wanna
like
move
you've
on.
listened to all you will listen to us yammer,
That's right.
and then we're done.
Then we say goodbye.
Then we say goodbye.
But right now, what I think we should say is that if you want to see this flight done, we are going to do it, but we're going to do a separate episode because
Otherwise, this one would be so long.
we've just been talking for a really long time.
Yeah.
So now that you know how to do your own flight,
the Bourbon
do
Night
it.
way.
yeah, do your own flight. And if you want to see us do this flight, you should watch our small batch episode, which
Yeah.
We're-
Click here.
yeah,
Right here. There's gonna be no up here. It's like here. It's not. You're here. I need you here. Yeah, right here. That's
right
where
here.
it is. Yeah.
Click here,
Click here.
somewhere around here, in this area.
Yeah.
So, click here
In this vicinity.
and
To watch that.
Watch it and
Yeah.
see what happens.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna
So,
find out.
Until then,
Yeah. You're Sarah.
I am Sarah. That's Chad.
Thank you. I am Chad. And until next time, drink more bourbon. But the next thing to do, and people also kind of, you can.
Yes, I've seen this one a lot.
Whoops! I totally spilled it.
This guy. So,
A good amount.
Jim Beam from.
Tell my friend no.
Yep.
You tell my friend no. For Cracker Time, we were.
Rewind. All right.
I try to do one of those once an episode.